Welcome to MelanatedMagikTV, and I'm your host, Jessica X. And today I am coming to you with a story straight out of WRDW. Augusta leaders considering additional steps such as curfew to flatten coronavirus curve. Augusta city leaders are considering additional steps to help stop the spread of coronavirus. Those changes are being considered in about 2 weeks. That particular period matters because that's around the time Augusta plans to revisit and update the state of emergency declaration. If we were to implement a curfew, we have some general idea of what that timeline will look like so that we can get people off the streets. Augusta Mayor Hardy Davis Jr. said, nationally, the talk is to flatten the curve, but here locally, officials are not exactly sure how our cases are curving. They are still waiting on the increase of availability of testing to know. But in anticipation of high numbers, curfew or order to stay inside may be coming. It's certainly something that we're giving strong consideration to, Davis said. There are already local guidelines in place for social distancing. Even all of the city facilities are closed to the public, but Davis says there are places where people seem to ignore the recommendations. Entities that are still operational late into the evening where you got 200 to 300 people there, Davis said. We want to make sure that stops today in advance of us having to take action. Davis says people should not follow current guidelines or an executive order, then it'll be up to the city to step in. It's just us simply taking those steps, Davis said. But we've trying to give people the opportunity to just comply with federal guidelines that are being sent down to us. Officials tell us that they're not ready to say how early or late the curfew would be or a specific date of a local shutdown. While changes are bound in our future, Augusta leaders want the present to be about the efforts of testing to know how to move forward with any local legislation. Davis told us they got a report on a number next week, which are likely to rise exponentially, but he said he doesn't want us to think that's because of a rapid spread. Anyway, guys, me personally, I honestly think this thing is gonna spread like how it's spreading in other cities. Just look at, some of the videos I did earlier, like how it's multiplying. And it's people walking around like it's, no virus, is out. People are still gathering. I remember going to my doctor's office and it was a lot of people in the waiting room and I was kind of terrified. So yeah, and it's people still going out on social gatherings, going out shopping. It's a lot of people everywhere. So yes, this thing is going to spread. And not to mention, it's people walking around without symptoms who don't even realize that, they have this virus. And it's people who have it and don't even realize, they may have symptoms, but they may not have all of the symptoms. They may just be having like body pains. They may contribute that to something else, or they may, have, some of the flu-like symptoms, meaning like they may have some of the runny nose, but not the the soreness of the bodies or the muscle or the joints, or they may just have the cough. A lot of people, I'm pretty sure it's a lot more people walking around, and they just haven't had the chance to do all the tests yet. So, but I really see this thing rising, because as of today, I've done multiple stories, and yesterday before I went to sleep, it was at 9, and I got up, it went from 9 to 11 to 13 to 15. I think it's like still at 15 now, but by the time I get up, I wouldn't be surprised if it's at like in the 20s, like 23 or 24. But anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And again, I am your host, Jessica X, and thanks for tuning in.